All right then, good morning. How are you, everybody? My name is Kevin. Welcome to Kickin It with Kevin on this second day of September. I'm having a good Wednesday. I hope you are. Here on the East Coast, kind of nice today outside, sunny, going to be in the 80s, bit humid, not as much as it has been last week or two, but still a bit humid. And I don't know, got woken up in the middle of the night by a bunch of rain, thunder and lightning, so it's all rocking and rolling in the weather pattern. All right, so what do we have on the menu for today? I think I set up a question, which was, let's see where I wrote it down. What decisions have you made about your future? Or maybe you haven't made any. But I think we do need to, or we have. And it really depends on where you're at. I think we are entering a time where anything is possible.
What y'all doing?
Well, there you go. What y'all doing? That's my friend, Mr. Leslie Jordan. Hello, here he is. Love light. Anyway, decisions about your future. Do you even consciously think about the future? And the other part I want to know is, do your relationships factor into it? More importantly, are your future plans, good morning, Kim, are your future plans dependent upon the people that you have in your life or that you want in your life? And does their influence make a difference to the decisions you make about your life? Much has been said about decisions. Decision 2020, decision this, decision that. And there are some folks who are frozen and have a hard time making any decision whatsoever. That's where I think a lot of folks are. And this brings up the topic. Most people aren't sure what they should do, what they will do, what the future looks like. So there is this, I'll call it a cloud of doubt, not necessarily, or pathway of opportunity. And I like to think of times when things stand still, people can't decide what they're doing, what they're not doing. Two things go on. There's an openness. Let's try this, let's try that. An experimental time of let's do it and see what happens, which I think we're in, which we should be in. We should be in, try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't take it personally, move on, try something else, as in all this mess. The other way is to be frozen and not do anything and watch what others are doing. This is what I mean by, are you allowing the relationships you've got? It's not a problem. But do the relationships you have factor into the decisions that you're going to make about your life? Remember, all this is happening for a reason. We don't know what the reason is, but it's happening for a reason. I don't believe that things occur like this on a global level for no reason whatsoever. I'd like to think something comes from it. And when something moves globally, simultaneously, at the same time, for millions of people, there's something strong and powerful about it. Either we are going to be powerful enough to move forward, and that means together, because I don't think anyone can accomplish anything on their own. Yes, some things, but not big things. Everyone needs help in some way, shape or form. And it brings me back into, do your relationships factor into the decisions that you're making about your life? Whatever that means. So here's the other thing. Relationships can also be not just about people, family, parents, children, cousins, siblings, whatever that is. It can also be about life things, your relationship with money, for example. Is it important to you? How do you see it? Do you see it as a way to get things, as a way to empower yourself? Do you see people with more money as a threat or as an attraction? And how much is more money? $1 more, 10,000 more, a million more? The point I'm making is, I always believe that comparison is the thief of joy. So if there's a comparison going on, which is usually what happens when we have a negative view of something. If our viewpoint is negative, then it lives in the comparison category. We've compared something with someone, and it's either something personal that we have or don't have, or want or don't want, or like or don't like. That's little Miss Amy over there. She has been itching to come upstairs and hang out for a while. I've had to regroup my pack of dogs by realigning myself as the alpha, as the one in charge. And since we've got a new one, a puppy, and some other new ones, the pack order has shifted a bit. So I've had to sort of get on everyone a little bit and let them all know I'm in charge and we don't play that here. Anyway, I digress. So relationships with money, it's either good or it's bad. And relationships with job, career. Where does that factor into your world, your life? It could be relationships with love. How you feel about love, how you feel about being in love. Does loving a person threaten you? Does loving a person make you vulnerable? And there's always this either or. All of which factors into the decisions we're making about our future. Either your future by yourself, this is what I'm going to accomplish, or I want to do this because this person thinks I should, or I want to do that because that person thinks this or that or the other thing. This is the time, folks, to be decisive and be okay with what decision you make about your future. I think the fear happens when we are a bit indifferent about changing our mind. There's this thing about, I'll say yes today. But in the back of your mind, you're really saying, yeah, no. If you're unsure, you could be unsure. I don't know is still a decision. I don't know is still a decision. If you're making a decision, if you say, I don't really know, I've done it. It's about pushing pause. If you say yes, you've taken a stand. Now, you can always say, I'm going to say yes right now. And are you going to be upset with me if I change my mind? Now, that's not really a full commitment. That is, it sounds good. The one thing I think that I have struggled with, and it's not anything, I used to blame people for it, but then I realized I don't know that it was intentional. You make plans, you do things that involve other people, whether it's a project you're all working on, volunteer thing, a plan to go on a trip, a plan to have an evening out, a plan to do something with a group of people. And you send invitations, all good, fine and dandy. You get all these folks, yes, 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 yes. And then slowly but surely, bit by bit, the day of, the afternoon of, the evening of, it all sort of trickles down to your 3 or 4 people that will say yes no matter what to you because they love you and they want to be with you and they like having time with you. And I always used to feel like, well, the other people, why did you commit? Why did you say yes? Why did you agree? And then bail. Then my mind all went to, oh, well, they just told a big lie, or I caught them doing something, or some better offer came along, which speaks directly to the lie that we were talking about on Sunday. The lie that becomes the truth is actually a lie that you believe that governs your life. And if you need to know a bit more about what we discussed, go back to August 30th video and watch the replay on it. It's pretty good stuff. So, I'm not telling you to make a decision about your life in the future or your future, but I'm bringing your mind to it so that you can, and be mindful. Be the light. Gandhi talks about when everything's lined up, everything's in harmony. When you are spiritually balanced, physically balanced, emotionally balanced, when all the stuff's working, there's this happiness, there's this harmony. And that also includes the decisions that we make, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. The other question I've got, Are you an influencer or are you a follower? Now, I'm sure that most of you are a bit of both. You can be influenced by people and you can also influence people. You can follow people that you're influenced by and they can follow you. So, either way, influencer or are you influenced? Are you a follower or do you follow? It's probably a bit of both. So it's a bit of a trick question, sorry. The bigger point I'm getting to is, who influences you? Why do they influence you? And what do they influence you to do, have, say, or anything like that? I mean, it could be a news person, it could be a friend, it could be a parent, it could be a sister. That's the three things just to be mindful of. Maybe you write it, the who, the W's, the who, the why, and the what. And then the other part, the same questions. If you follow, what are you following? And who are you following? And why are you following them? Sometimes just getting clear and specific about those questions brings laser focus to the behaviors that influence the decisions that we're making about our life. And the whole point with this whole Kicking It with Kevin is so that you take charge, line yourself up with, and attract the kind of situations, people that you want around to move you forward. With that, I could say, once you begin to make specific changes and be deliberate about what you're doing and take back your, we call it the true north, being in your true north, standing in your power, knowing what you want out of life and going for it. Know that if this has not been the kind of thing you've done or the way you've been or how you've conducted your life, there will be folks who are a little bit alarmed by, wow, they might even be a bit jealous. That's okay, it's fine. It's on them. That's their stuff, not on you. I say that because I know myself, I've held back because I've been a little bit concerned about, I don't want to give the impression of blank. I'm a little bit nervous about saying something because I might upset blank, especially now. We are in a culture of being culturally aware of including everybody, making sure they're included. There was one mistake I've made recently was that I took that for granted, and that's wrong. I assumed that was also wrong. Now I'm mindful and aware that, everybody should be sitting at everyone's table, no matter what that is or what that looks like. And I wrongfully assumed that they were, and they were not. That's all I've got to say about the subject. All right, then. I hope that's clear. I do want to get into something that I could use your help with. I talked to, Kim yesterday. Some of you are friends of mine. And I want to know what your thoughts are about YouTube. You leave your comments below if you're on the replay. Doing all this, going out, streaming twice a week, that's a decision I made about my future. It's something that I like to do to connect with people. Since, I'm not attached to a yoga studio anymore. I'm doing yoga online, and our governor in North Carolina was one of 2 states still requiring gyms and studios, fitness facilities to stay closed. We're now open in this state, and I think New Jersey did it yesterday. So I'm assuming that down the road, at some point or another, students, including myself, will be venturing back into yoga studios and practicing as we were before, with social distancing guidelines and whatever else that they regulate we're supposed to do. But that being said, YouTube, I had no idea that there was so much criteria involved with having a YouTube channel, which explains why when so many folks do it and they get on it and they have a channel going, they stick with it because it's a lot of bloody work to set it up. And there is an awful lot of criteria that goes with it. I was learning that you can put out these search engine words, keywords if you like, but if the videos that you're posting on YouTube, if none of them have any of that subject in them, or they're not about what the keywords are, that you just use the keywords as a search, which, let's face it, that's what we were taught to do. But if none of your content matches all of that, YouTube comes through, I call them the YouTube police, that people we can't see, and they just shut it down, send you all these warning labels. Okay, Google, you need to be clear about what you want us to do when you want us to do this. So my question really is, should I do it? Is YouTube a place that you all go to get your content from? And what would be the point? Yes, I get the point that the more folks who like, subscribe and hit the bell button, especially when you start going up into the thousands, that becomes a moneymaker for a lot of folks, as do the links to go buy stuff. That becomes a moneymaker for folks. To me, that's a full-time job to keep up with. I'd do it if the cash was pretty decent, but I have no idea what that looks like at this point in time. My point of doing any of this is to be motivational, inspirational, and perhaps change the mental narrative that most people have out there. This is a no-nonsense chit-chat about life in general with some motivational messages and a meditation. The other question I've got really is it one channel? Because I don't believe any of us just do one thing. We may be funneled into one area. We might be doing a job that is making a living at one task, but there may be some other things that we're really good at. Like my one main source of income has been hairdressing. That's what I've done since I was a kid. So do I have a channel that's all about hairdressing? Or do I have a channel that's just about kicking it with Kevin? Or what is that? What does that look like? And I'm asking because I want to know. I'm just curious. It's no point in putting something out there and getting in front of people's face if it's just for the hell of doing it. I can think of other things I'd like to do, but anyway, I digress. Right, it's time for doing the reading and to meditate. So here's the book. And our focus today was, what decisions are you making about your future? Now, it's going to blow my head off the top if this daily reading matches that, because it's like, seems so weird that that keeps happening. Anyway, I'm going to shove it in any which way but loose. And we've landed on November the 8th. Put it up for clarity's sake. Ease up on yourself. Could play into it. Yeah, I like the fact that it's a bit different. When you don't know what to do next, oh, here we go. Ease up on yourself. See how much more you accomplish, how much easier life is, how much more you enjoy life when you aren't forcing yourself. Forcing can turn into fear. Fear that the job won't get done. Fear that the natural way would evolve won't be the right way. Fear that you're not good enough. There's the lie. Learn a different way. Learn the way of love. Relax. Sit back. Let go for now. Where did we get to? Yes. Let go for now. Do something different. Breathe deeply. Burn a candle. Read a poem. Light some sage. I've got a funny story. I'll get there in a minute. If fear is present, send it away. See it. Feel it, then allow it to leave. Return to the task in love when it feels natural, right, and on time. Participate naturally, joyfully in creation. That is so important. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Oh gosh, is that important? Whether that's the creation of relationships, creation of a dinner, a garden, or a meeting. So here's the affirmation that goes with it. That's the looks like a little poem at the bottom of the page. Sometimes it's time to focus, to try hard. Sometimes it's time to ease up. See how much more you get done when you ease up. And see how much more playing and laughing and enjoying gets done too. This is so huge and so great. So I better tell you what, when it got to burning some sage. See, I read these things and I go on these journeys, and it always reminds me of times in my life that are just weird. So I have a small salon here in Charlotte. It's just me and the client in a room, and it's fun. I've got it all decorated a little bit like this. Kind of fun, different, bohemian. I think that's my style for the moment. Hippy dippy, if you want another description. Anyway, every once in a while I like to clear the energy out, and I have a rather large bundle of sweet grass, which has sage in it, sweet grass, lavender, all bundled up. It's dry. You buy it from those new age shops, and you light it and it smokes. I got carried away with the sweet grass and the sage, and I was wafting this mess all over the salon. And one of my neighbours over there came out, was sniffing and having a fit about how she believed somebody was in there smoking marijuana, reefer, whatever you. Oh, I had to bite the towel. I was laughing so hard. It's a normal and natural response, I suppose, and it brought me to realise, wow, some people are so bloody nosy. They're poking their nose and sticking their face up in other people's business, when really, if they just minded their own, it would be all fine and dandy. Anyway, I digress. Done. What else should I do before we meditate? I wrote another chapter on my book last night. I got carried away with it. It's going along really, really well. I'm really glad I'm doing this writing membership. This chapter was about when I went to the doctor's office for a consultation and came out with more than I bargained for. You'll have to... Oh, it brought back memories. 1986. It's amazing when you start writing about things that you did, what should almost be 30 years ago. More than 30 years ago, I don't know now. It's a long time ago. How much clarity you get. All right, enough. Let's meditate. Get clear. If wherever you are, turn off your distractions, shut your phones down. Amy in the corner, be quiet, don't snore. And then we'll just get grounded. Put your feet flat on the floor, and just start by focusing on a big breath in. Release out what doesn't need to be here. Now for this morning, I want you to place your feet flat on the floor. That connects you to the earth, the core of the earth, and brings you to a integrated place where you know you're here and now and present. That's all that's for. Bring into view in your mind's eye and your thoughts, we're all wired up for thinking a lot. Bring into view the one thing that you'd like to release, get rid of, let go of. It could be worry, not the thing you're worried about, but the actual worry itself. A big one is fear. And with fear, you could put my fear about finances, fear about security, fear about love, or fear about the future, or fear about lack of clarity, whatever that fear would be. Attach a file folder to it. Send it, the thoughts of it, the idea about it, send it down both legs into the floor, and participate in the creation of a vision that sees the core of the earth afire, burning this off, extinguishing it, taking care of it, letting it go. With the burning, you see the white flame and the smoke. Bring the white flame up as transformation, that you have transferred fear into action. The action of bringing something else in place. And that may be clear focus. If there are other issues that you think are equally as fearful as the one you've just dumped, do that. Now bring your mind to your spine line, your body, and imagine yourself as being a clear vessel, like a tube, vase, whatever you want, a cylinder, clear, transparent. Fill it with light, and it doesn't have to be white. If you see more than one light, that's fine. Whatever you're seeing, you're creating and you're making happen. The key to meditation is not to attach yourself by making it mean anything. It just is what it is. That's the lightness and the joy and the brightness of meditation. The acceptance of things as they are, right here. Now allow this tube of light to clearly go through the crown of your head, the top of your head, right up past wherever you believe the clouds are, the planets are, beyond the planets. It can be as wide and bright as a searchlight. It can be as fine as and intense as a laser beam. Your light is what you create it to be. And you're now intentionally and specifically attaching your light to all forms. The earth, gravity, and the air, the sky, the universe, ethereally, spiritually. So observe yourself as if you take your consciousness out of your physical body and look at it. Just observing what you see. If there's anywhere that needs brightening up, breathe in and send the air that you breathe into that spot, that place, and watch it brighten up. Energy flows into us from the air from out in the room and out of us when we expel air out. Exhale. Keep breathing, seeing your light expanding beyond your body. Then focus your eyes on the area right between your forehead. You can imagine it like looking down a telescope or looking through a set of binoculars. or visualizing a window, whatever you visualize your future view to be, see it. Now picture what you believe and know you'll be doing in November of 2020. It could be much the same. Or it could be seeing yourself doing something that you've made a decision about. As you look at the vision of your future, November 2020, as you're watching the activities you're up for and up to, pay attention to your now physical body, the one you're in today. The physical sensations you have in your body about what you're seeing for your future is your indicator for them occurring or not occurring. The wisdom of your intuition underneath the daily thoughts of ego bring the clarity to discern the difference between if this is a vision, a goal that you can achieve. The physical neurological response will be that of excitement, lightness, levity, naturally, autonomously. If you find yourself trying to get there and struggling with it happening, focus on another vision and repeat the process. Keep seeing what you want to have happen. Put in the other senses around it. If you're cooking, what does it smell like and look like? If you're cooking for other people, who are they? Where do they come from? If you're drawing or painting or otherwise doing something creative in a craft sense, what does it look like? What does it feel like? If you're moving residences, living in a different home that you've wanted, what does that look like? What does move-in day feel like? Allow yourself the next few moments to continue feeling and breathing and being with yourself in November. Gently bring your attention back to the room that you're in. Bring your awareness back to the body, your body. And simply place your hands at heart center. Together we bow and say namaste. And then just let your eyes open gently as they will. That felt good. I felt good. Like I took a little mini nap. thank you so much for joining me on this. I'm doing it again at 11:30 on Sunday, another one. I am interested in your feedback, whether I should do just one channel with a bunch of videos or 3 different subjects, and I'll take the most popular vote. Yesterday I did some research and realized that in order to be searchable, in order to be found, you have to have a channel that matches what you're putting out there, a description that people can find you with. So one of my thoughts was, well, I could go out there as a channel of Kevin Cross and the videos could be under a subheading of Kicking It with Kevin. But then I thought about doing helpful hints and tips for today's hair consumer. You know, what kind of hairdryer do you need? You know, how do you go to a stylist? What conversations to have? Anyway, all right. I love you. Have a great Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. And you do something that powers up your future. That's about all I got. See you later. Bye.